yeah, so she is his former wife, or his dead wife, is always running around in these dreams, uh, messing things up for them. So it's nice. It brings a real antagonist into the plots because she's always trying to foil stuff, uh, and screw with his plans. Uh, but he also, in order to fool her, he can't. What they actually do is they bring somebody else, and I think I already said this, but they bring somebody else into a dream that one of his team has created, uh, and they feel all the people in it are their projection, are the person they brought in. That's their projections, and then there's themselves. Apparently, they have a few. I guess through his wife, they can have a few projections in there themselves, but he can't make the dreams himself though, because if he did, this subconscious projection of his dead wife would know everything and just be able to screw everything up. So he has to get somebody else to do the stuff for him, which is why he brings in Adrian, played by Ellen Page. Does a decent performance. This kind of innocent college student who apparently is very willing to do this. The act that they tell her outright is very illegal, and we're being very evil and deceptive, but she kind of just goes with it, like, for no reason. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of a character a whole, I think, with her, is she's kind of first shown to be this somewhat innocent college student, and this kind of immediately goes with this illegal espionage business. So she's the one that does push him to find out what's with Cobb, and gets Cobb to reveal all this stuff about what's going on. He kind of is hiding the real thing that's going on with his ex-wife or dead wife, because the others see her in their dreams. So at least when they're connected to this machine. You guys still following everything? So they have to bring in a new person to design, because his old architect got basically kicked off because he squealed to Sato, and since he squealed to Sato, Sato's like, well, you're not worthy to be on this team because you might say something. So they bring in this new person. She actually designs all the different levels of the dream. And then they finally get to the actual dream thing. They basically, luckily, Sato happens to own an airline, and so when Fisher is flying back to his father's funeral, they drug him. He passes out. They hook up the machine. They go in, and they find out that he's got the defenses. So originally they were just gonna put him under, and I guess take their sweet time figuring out everything. He actually tricks. They want him getting into a car chase with his mind's defenses. And hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Had to go open the door for somebody. Yeah, so they're being chased by his mind's defenses, and therefore they decide to go even further into his mind by them going into a dream state within the dream. Because apparently within the dream they have a little dream machine, so they hook it up and they go under, burn him into a new dream. And DiCaprio actually winds up convincing Fisher that he himself is a projection of his mind. That when he got this training, he was trained to have a subject in his mind that would help guide him and protect him. So he actually kind of tricks Fisher into going into another dream state. But because it's weird. It's because this dream state is connected to the dream that they're being chased. Whenever the other guy left behind in that does a hard turn and they all swing, this dream state, the gravity just goes haywire. Which is, if you've seen the trailers and you've seen Gordon Levy running up on walls Matrix style, that's this one. Because at one point when they're actually falling in the first dream state, there's no gravity. So I'm not sure how. I'm actually very interested to know how they filmed this. I'm curious if they used the plane technique, because the shots really aren't that long when they're flying all over the place in there, which is making me think maybe they rented out one of those planes that go fly up and then do a steep dive, and they get 30-40 seconds of 0G. Because really the shots when they're like that are only normally like 10, 20 seconds long, which is long enough for their purpose, but because it looks really good. Some of it, I'm sure, is also people on strings, but I'm wondering if they use that technique, which would be really interesting if they did. It would show how much money they had, for one thing. But yeah, so we get some very interesting, cool psychological, or not psychological, psychedelic scenes with that. But when they take him into the third state of dreaming, it's the deepest one. They also convince him that his uncle is the one trying to kidnap him in the first state because he thinks the first state's real. Fisher, that is. And his uncle is played by none other than Tom Berenger. That's awesome. What is with movies this summer? They all have like extremely awesome casts. Predators had it. Predators had a good cast for that type of movie. Expendables looks like it has an incredibly awesome cast. This one has a very awesome cast. Avatar, or The Last Airbender, I should say, not so much of a good cast. I guess they got all the rejects from the good movies. Except for the guy that plays Hansen. He was like, I liked him, but we're digressing. I'm using that word a lot. And I'm having to pause this film. I had to pause it again. I really have to make these recordings when there's not 10,000 people running through the house. So they go through that layer, and they bring him yet into a deeper layer where there's basically a fortress surrounded by an army that will get him to the ultimate Inception ideal. Because throughout each level of dreaming, they're kind of subtly implanting him with the idea that he should break up his father's company. And it's kind of every layer you see, it's kind of working. His father, by the way, is played by none other than Fisher's father. That is played none other by Pete. I can never pronounce his name either. Postlethwaite. I know there's going to be posting like, how can you not pronounce that name? If you don't know who that guy is, he was the hunter in The Lost World, and he was also in Alien 3. He always is one of those character actors that you see. If you see the guy, you go, oh, that guy, you'll recognize him. He was also, well, I'm not going to get into it because he's been in a ton of films. But they subtly connect him, and in this last one, Fisher gets he gets shot and killed by Leonardo DiCaprio's wife, whose name is Ma. Yeah, come on, Nolan, you could have came up with a little bit of better name than Ma, but whatever. And Wasabi, or Sato, I should say, he was shot in the first level of dreaming, but because he goes into a different level, he's not really shot, and he's also, because of the time thing, he can do more. He's not bleeding to death in that one, but he also winds up getting this from his earlier bullet wound. Eventually catches up with him even in this world, and he winds up dropping him because both of them are down. DiCaprio has to go into yet a fourth state, the ultimate subconscious of his subconscious. He's got to go into, which is scary because that's where Ma will be. It's hard when your arch villain's name is Ma. That does get to me. It gets to me more than the him not being able to come back to the States. It's a set name. They really should have improved the name there. And we're going to get to that one in the next part.